You could find us across all your favorite podcast platforms. You could find us on YouTube, and please remember to subscribe. And you could find us at realmeneatplants.com. Our guests today are a mother-daughter combination. Cody Stubbe is a registered nurse, and she is a PCRM Food for Life instructor. She had actually 4 recipes in my book, Food is Climate, but one was hers, and there was one for each of her 3 daughters in this book. Cody is the co-founder of So Many Cooks in the Kitchen and So Many Kids in the Kitchen. She'll tell us about that, but these, I think, are available to be watched on Facebook. And she is the co-leader of the Nurses Nutrition Network. And with her is her daughter, a sophomore in high school, Ava Stubbe. And Ava and Cody, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Glenn. Thank you for having us. It's good to see you, and we're honored to be on your show today. So thank you.
Well, thank you. So let me begin with a question to Ava. Have you been a vegan all your life, or when did you become a vegan?
Not all my life. I think it's been, I want to say about 4 or 5 years by now.
Oh, 4 or 5 years. Okay. So do you remember the moment when you became a vegan and how that happened?
It was more of like a gradual change, at least for our house, I think, because mom started doing it before the rest of us. So she'd just like be cooking vegan meals most of the time. And then that's just what we'd eat. And then I just kept eating that basically.
So Cody, how did that work for you as you transformed to a vegan, and then you have 3 daughters, and you presumably wanted them to go vegan, but maybe wanted to give them some degree of choice. Tell us about that.
Well, we kind of just started phasing things out a little bit, and I'd make less and less of the animal products. I couldn't hardly do it, and just kept trying to kind of educate my family on the importance of changing and improving our health and the way we eat and getting away from those animal products. And once I got my husband on board, it was easy peasy, because then we didn't have to even worry about having those products in the house, because we make the decisions of the family. So, so we pay for the groceries. So we decided not to buy those things anymore. And the kids went right along with it, and they really enjoyed it, because at that time they had a lot of more, options, and got to see what was really good without those kinds of animal products in them. And yeah, it's been, gosh, I think it's been five years since the kids have been, and I can't remember, maybe 7 years for me. I don't know. I lose track of the time. It's just, the years go by so fast when my kids get older, Glenn. So, but we love this way of life. It's nice not to have to, be a part of that anymore. Kind of break that cycle, break that tradition in our household or family, because I came from a family of hunters, and it's nice to actually be able to break that. So that unhealthy family tradition.
Now you're coming to us from Omaha, Nebraska, which is not considered the center of the vegan world.
No, far.
So how did you, Cody, first come across the information that made you go vegan? And then how did you cope with the fact that you were becoming a vegan in an environment that probably is not full of a lot of vegans?
Yeah, those are great questions, Glenn. So, being a nurse, I teach nursing clinicals, and I taught on the cardiac unit. So open heart specialty was my thing. And then I started teaching on the cardiac unit, and I started seeing patients younger and younger were having open heart surgery for clogged arteries. So we took care of a patient as 20s. And that got me really like wondering what is going on in this world that someone that young was having, his chest, opened up and revascularized his heart because of his lifestyle. And I was like looking, I'm like, why is this happening? So I started watching some documentaries, and one of the first ones that I came across was Forks Over Knives. And having Dr. Esselstyn, he's an old cardiothoracic surgeon. And so his perspective, his research on that just blew my mind. And I'm like, why are we not talking about this? This should be on billboards. This should be, on news shows. It should be everywhere, this information about the devastation caused by eating animal products. And so that's
Now,
what really got
excuse me,
going.
were you still eating animal products when you came across this information?
Yeah. And then I made the change because I was like, I can't unsee and know what I just know, what I just learned. I'm an educator, right? And so then knowing that is what kept me going, and having a family and not wanting to be that person that would need open heart surgery down the road. Myself just trying to look out for my health, and then my family's health as well. The transition with just myself was okay. I did my best. And then it was hard because it was about 2 years I was doing it on my own without really any support. And there were the days where I felt like I needed support, where it's like too easy to give in. But then I was like, nope, I can't. I know this is very important. There's no going back, right? Once I know what I know and I know it's right. And it was kind of hard though for a couple years. And then I found some online support, Facebook pages and recipes and stuff like that. It just kept me going. And then the Food for Life group of people, those other instructors, they've been such a great support. And we've become really good friends with a lot of them. So it's been a really, really nice thing, and I'm glad to find that support, but it took a while. It took a while to find my tribe, but once I did, and then got my family on board, now it's great. So it just depends,
Did a lot of neighbors and friends in Nebraska confront you on this?
Well, I'd say family was the hardest thing because, I bring my own food now when I go to my family's house, which is fine, or make sure that they have things available there already. I think some family members were concerned about my kids not being healthy because they weren't eating meat. And
Ava looks healthy.
She's very healthy. Yeah. And it's just, just to get to educate them and to let them realize I'm not hurting my kids. I'm actually helping my kids,
right.
Because it's just so ingrained in everybody that you have to eat meat for your protein. That's the only place you get it, and then it's like, no, that's not the only place. That's actually the worst place.
Right. Now,
So
Ava, in high school, do you have any other friends who eat the way you do?
So I don't personally know any vegans. I know a few people who are like vegetarian or lactose intolerant, but like everyone's really supportive about it.
Good. So you don't get any flack for being a vegan?
No.
Good.
And like my friends' parents will like cook me vegan food or stuff when I go over to their houses.
Good. Now, do you know people who are in the animal agriculture field who feel threatened by your diet? Either of you?
I mean, I grew up on a farmland. I don't really.
What was grown on that farm?
Oh, a lot of corn grown for cattle, so that's where I came from, right? I don't think they're offended. I think it's how you approach people on it, if you approach it from a health perspective with my background and everything, it comes across, I guess, less intense maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm very respectful in what they do, because what they do, I mean, essentially it's their way of life. You don't ever want to step on toes in that aspect, because they have to provide for their families. So there's definitely a delicate way to go about things. I just try my best not to really offend someone, you know.
Right.
I think I've done a pretty good job at that. At least I think so.
Right.
I try not to be pushy, but I try to educate when it's warranted, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. And tell us about so many cooks in the kitchen and so many kids in the kitchen. What are those?
So those are just some free online, like great cooking shows. It's been a lot of fun. We started this in 2020. A group of Food for Life instructors. We got together and decided it'd be so fun to do a cooking show where we go kitchen to kitchen about every 6 minutes or so. We go to another kitchen in a different house. So Omaha's for me. I got a friend Dillip in North Carolina, a friend Ella in Rhode Island. Tammy in Florida. I mean, we just literally go kitchen to kitchen, and we have a friend that's in Abu Dhabi. And so it goes across the seas. I mean, it's all online, so we can do those things. And we've had so much fun. And then my friend Dillip and Ella, they have some kids too, of course. So Dillip has a new, and Ella has me and Max. And I got my $3. So Ava, Ella, and Nora. And they started so many kids in the kitchen. So that's every other month. Same concept. We go kitchen to kitchen, but now you got the kids doing their own recipes or picking one from a good resource, and just simple recipes and fun and delicious and colorful. And the kids really have a good time, and they've all become good friends together too, which is really a joy to see, you know. So, and it's just free. It's through Facebook. I think it goes on YouTube as well. They're recorded. We have a website called somanycooks.com where there's a link to all the shows as well, and recipes. And you probably know who Brenda Davis is, don't
I
you?
have interviewed her. Yeah.
I figured so, Glenn. So she does all of our nutrition write-ups for us. So for each of our
Okay.
shows, we have a nice document with all of our recipes. And at the end, she does a wonderful nutrition write-up, and she throws in some of her own recipes in there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to check it out if you haven't been on there yet and see what all she's done for us. And you know, we've had, gosh, hundreds of recipes now. We're thinking about throwing together some kind of a book, a big cookbook. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And next year we'd like to get all the kids in the kitchen together for some kind of fun anniversary event.
Yeah.
So, but it's been such a joy. I mean, to have my kids just be inspired by other kids, and have this community, you know, people that support your lifestyle. It's really been such a benefit for us, a joy, isn't it?
That's
All right, if you've ever wanted to show off your plant-based lifestyle and do it in style, here's your chance. We have some of the most amazing t-shirts, hats, accessories, coffee mugs, and more at shop.realmeneatplants.com. We have statement t-shirts that will bring a smile to everyone's face. I love the I want tofu tonight tee. Plus, we have podcast tees, Real Women Eat Plants gear, Real Kids Eat Plants, and Real People Eat Plants, just in case men, women, and kids didn't cover it all. Yeah, we love you and love that you want to show off that healthy lifestyle of yours. Again, check out our high-quality gear at shop.realmeneatplants.com and enjoy.
That's great. And your husband, tell us about his journey. One day his wife comes home and she says, "I'm not eating meat anymore." And what did your husband say?
Well, he was not on board
Uh-huh.
initially. It took a couple of years. He likes to lift his weights, and he was definitely concerned about losing out on the muscle mass due to the lack of protein without eating meat. So it took that time period to kind of educate him, and very delicately, of course,
Did
because
you show him pictures of vegan bodybuilders?
Yeah, I did what I had available to me at the time. Yep.
Right.
And then I think it was when Game Changers came out, took him to that. And that was very mind opening for him, because there's a lot of weightlifters on there, football players. And so it was good for him to see that documentary. And he met Robert Cheek a couple years ago and had a good conversation with him, so he can see firsthand, how you can actually build great muscle on a whole food plant-based diet. And so he changed along with the kids. And yeah, he's enjoyed it. He hasn't lost any muscle. He's gained it. It doesn't seem like he has as many like lifting kind of injuries. I mean, they're always minor, but I don't ever hear him really say anything about having a lifting injury anymore. And I told him, I said, yeah, this is exactly where like the cows get their protein. They get it from the grass. It's amino acids, that come together in your body. It's so, the biggest animals on earth eat plants. So, some people have a hard time wrapping their head around that, but it's true, and you have less inflammation, right? Because you have all these antioxidants totally healing your body and keeping it nice and healthy all the time.
So your husband is glad he made the transformation?
Yeah, definitely. And the benefits for the climate as well. He wants this world to be a better place for our kids. He loves animals, so he's glad he doesn't have to, be a part of that anymore. So yeah, it's nice. It's really made a huge difference to have him on board with this. And I mean, I feel for any of those spouses or those husbands or wives out there that are doing this on their own, because it's hard and it's so much easier if you can both get on board. And sometimes it takes an outside source to educate that spouse, because they don't ever want to listen to their partner, it seems like. I don't know what it is. I mean, you can talk to them for years and it takes someone outside to come talk to them, or they watch a documentary that just kind of makes something click for them. So
Okay. So what are you going to prepare for us today?
Well, we're going to make a black bean salsa dip, and this is a PCRM recipe. And I always like to tweak it. I love garlic, so I added a little garlic to this recipe. So basically, yeah, I do. I love garlic, Lynn.
You put garlic in everything.
I put garlic in everything, so I'm gonna let you dump everything in. So we got 1 can of black beans, and it's rinsed and drained.
Okay.
All right, 1 cup of your favorite salsa. One of my favorites is it's from Aldi's. Do you have an Aldi's in California?
We have an Aldi's, yeah.
This is my favorite salsa. It's very inexpensive. I think it's like $1 something for this. Really, it seems like clean ingredients. So I like that. So 1 cup of salsa, and then about a half a teaspoon of ground garlic. And
I hear you use that often.
What's that?
I hear that you use garlic often.
Yes, definitely. And then a half a teaspoon of ground cumin. So, and that's it.
That's
you don't
it?
add any, that's
That
it.
was
You don't
easy.
add anything. Yeah, it's easy, because if you think about it, you're gonna have, your peppers and your onions in with your salsa, so you don't need to add that in there. All right, it's gonna get loud for a hot minute here.
Okay. I can't hear it.
All right. And then you just blend it to the consistency you like. So I like it a little bit smoother. Sorry, one more time. Okay, one more quick little go. Smells really good. All right. So this is a really inexpensive recipe, really quick, as you can see, very healthy for you. Lots of veggies and legumes. And there you go. And then you just get your favorite chip. It's hard to find chips that are low fat, low sodium, right? So you can make your own if you want. If you can't find any, you can just do
or tortillas.
Yep. And I stack them up, and I use a pizza slicer and slice through them. You can do like chili and lime on them and throw them in the oven and crisp them up. Excuse me. And then those make excellent chips as well. So
Okay. Now I have a question for you, Cody, about the cardiac unit that you worked in. Do you still work in a cardiac unit?
No, not currently. Now I teach on the oncology units. Now I deal with people going through cancer treatments.
Okay. Well, when you were working on the cardiac unit and you had your revelation and you went plant-based, went vegan, did you speak with any of the surgeons about it, and did they have any opinions about your diet?
Well, let's see. I did at a different facility. It was not a cardiac unit, but I did talk to one cardiologist, and he was definitely unfit himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh yeah, how about, plant-based diet? And I just started kind of talking, and then he's like, oh, we just recommend a cardiac diet, whatever that all is. And I'm like, well, you should know. It's like, it's sad because like cardiologists, those physicians alone, a lot of them are very unhealthy themselves.
Yeah.
Nurses too. Nurses are, I think, more unhealthy than the general population, unfortunately. And we're here educating others and trying to take care of others when sometimes we don't take care of ourselves or know how to take care of ourselves because maybe they forgot what they learned or didn't get taught the appropriate things. Or like the media sways things, to promote their products, or the beef and
Right.
dairy industry, you know how it goes.
Right.
So, we're not immune. Nurses, doctors are not immune to those things, to the media, to the false advertising, all of that, unfortunately. So it's kind of my passion to educate nurses, nursing students about eating whole food, plant-based, getting away from those animal products, put more plants on your plate. For health benefits for not just themselves, but just, they are also a good example of what health should be. And, I don't want them to get sick.
Right.
We have enough people getting sick. We all need to do our best, and you meet people where they're at,
Right.
and just encourage them just to try more new things. And I think that's a part of like why there's so many cooks, there's so many kids is important to me, because you're showing how easy these recipes are, how delicious they are,
Right.
and how fun it is. So
Have,
yeah,
have any of your nurse colleagues transformed to the vegan diet after talking to you?
No, not 100%, but I think I'm definitely, influencing them, getting them curious. I had one of the directors reach out to me last week just saying she wanted some more resources. She's interested. And so that got me excited.
Good.
So yeah, so I'm definitely excited because if I can get those people in administration, the nurses in administration on board, you're going to have a trickle down effect to your classroom, to what we're teaching our nursing students more often. And I do post-conference food for life classes with my students. I bring in food, we watch the videos, I do sometimes hands-on cooking demo, get them involved. And they seem to really like it. It's a fun way to end a day at the hospitals, to sit down and chat and have some good food and good education. So but yeah, I'm trying my best to get more of the administrators on board, and we're getting there. We're making progress. So
Good. Ava,
yeah.
do any of your friends in school, excuse me, do any of them show any curiosity about your diet?
I mean, sometimes if I like bring some homemade food for lunch, they'll be interested and want to try some.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like it's better than a lot of the school lunch foods. School lunches are not the best here. So I think it is interesting if they like see something different and like, hey, that looks good. What is that?
I can still remember the school the school lunches I had when I was a kid. They were inedible.
Yeah.
And the government often subsidizes the school lunches to put more cheese and milk in them, and the government subsidies get passed through to kids with animal products.
Yeah,
Um,
that's too bad. And they still have processed meat,
yeah.
and that's a carcinogen right there. Same
Yeah.
as cigarettes and asbestos, and they're still giving that out to kids for school lunches. And that should be, the first thing to go, you would think. Would be
You'd think,
something.
or in hospitals, that would be another
Exactly.
good place to get rid of the animal foods.
Yes, I agree, 100%.
Yeah. And a year and a half ago, I had hernia surgery, and I woke up in the recovery room, and the first thing the nurse said was, Would you like a ham sandwich? Thought, well, you don't know who I am, do you?
Yeah.
So, do you put much time into recipe creation, either of you?
Oh, let's see. I haven't done that so much lately. I did that more during COVID when I wasn't working as much. Now I
Ava,
take a recipe and just kind of tweak it, but
I'd
you like-
say I don't really cook with recipes unless I see something specifically I want to try. Usually I just kind of like think of what I want and then go for it, and sometimes it ends up making a new recipe.
Okay.
yeah, I'd say you're more creative than I am.
I'm more of like spontaneously cooking, so I don't always write down my recipes, but usually I just come up with something and make it.
So what are your favorite breakfasts?
I've made like these little vegan egg quiche cups, and you can put like whatever toppings you want in there. And I like those. With my friend Anu has this really great pancake recipe. So like quiche cups and pancakes, I think.
So what do you use as vegan eggs?
I've done it with like a tofu thing before, but I also like the just egg substitute. That's usually pretty good.
Yeah, I never tried that just egg thing. All right, and a favorite lunch?
I don't know. Usually for lunch, I just have leftovers of whatever we cooked the day before. So it's not much cooking for lunch thing.
Yeah, we like leftovers, that's for sure. We do a lot of stir fries. Yeah, I don't know, a variety of things, but
And what are some of your favorite dinner entrees?
I like Mom's vegan lasagna, or her like vegan mac and cheese. Those are both really good.
yeah, I make a good cheese sauce with sweet potatoes.
Okay, is there any garlic in it?
Of course.
There's always garlic in it. If anyone ever eats food at our house, there is always garlic.
Always
There's no
garlic.
vampires here, Glenn.
Well, garlic is one of the healthiest foods.
Yep, garlic and onion. We love onions as well.
That's good for your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Cody and Ava. The website is somanycooks.com, and you could find So Many Cooks in the Kitchen and So Many Kids in the Kitchen on both Facebook and YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so there may be a book down the road, huh? A cookbook?
Possibly. We've been talking about it, so I'll let you know, Glenn.
Let us know if that happens. And in the meantime, there is a new cookbook for sale. Chef AJ's Sweet Indulgence, which is like the most beautiful dessert cookbook of all time.
Wow.
All vegan, of course, all gluten-free, no oil, healthy desserts. Because
Very
people
nice.
are going to always have dessert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
Thanks for having us, Glenn. We appreciate you.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining me. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. This has been the Glenn Mercer Show, where everyone listening turns vegan, regains their health, and annoys their friends and relatives. Find us on YouTube at The Glenn Mercer Show and across all your major podcast platforms. Don't forget to subscribe.